Hello. In this video, we will look at how to calculate the mean, median, and mode, or the measures of central tendency, or measures of center, for frequency distribution. The example says 65 randomly selected car salespersons were asked the number of cars they generally sell in 1 week. 14 people answered that they generally sell 3 cars. 19 generally sell 4 cars, 12 generally sell 5 cars, 9 generally sell 6 cars, and 11 generally sell 7 cars. The example asks us to calculate the mean, median, and mode for the sample. All right, so we have 65 randomly selected car salespersons. Since we have such a large number of values, we could list them all out. They tell us that 14 people generally sell 3 cars, so we could do 3, 3, 3, 14 times, and then 4, 4, 4, 19 times, and so on. But we don't want to do that. This will be a lot easier if we make a frequency distribution. So the way that we'll make a frequency distribution is we will identify the variable. In this case, we are trying to calculate the mean, median, and mode for number of cars sold. So our variable is number of cars sold. This question is a little bit confusing because we have 2 different numbers in each portion of the sentence. We have 14 people sold 3 cars. So 3 cars were sold by 14 people. So the second number here is the frequency. 4 cars were sold by 19 people. 5 cars were sold by 12 people. 6 cars were sold by 9 people. And lastly, 7 cars were sold by 11 people. So we have now all 65 car salespersons and the number of cars they sold in a frequency distribution. In order to calculate the mean, median, and mode of this frequency distribution, we need to input our values into Geogebra. If you're using the app-based Geogebra for either a smartphone or a tablet, you will have to use the on-screen keyboard. If you're using this on a laptop, or if you have a Bluetooth keyboard attached to your tablet, you can just use the keyboard that comes on your device. It's a little bit more confusing to do this with the on-screen keyboard, so I'm going to show how to do that. And I'll explain what to do with the keyboard if you have one of those as well. So essentially, we just need to tell Geogebra the 2 different sets of data that we have. The first set of data is number of cars sold, our variable. In this case, I'm going to use the letter C as the variable name. We will press equals, C equals, and we need to enter all of the values of that variable inside these set brackets. These set brackets, or curly brackets, can be found under the f of x function. If you are on your keyboard, they're on the right side of the keyboard above the enter button. You might have to use the shift button to access them. And then from here, we're going to enter all of these data values. Again, we are only entering the number of cars sold with commas between them. We will press enter. And now we have the number of cars sold entered into our lists. The second thing we need to enter is the frequency. Now it's important that our frequency is in the same order as our variables. So make sure that whatever order we put our variable into, our frequency is associated the same way. I'm going to use the letter F for frequency. F equals, again, in order to get the curly brackets, for the set notation, we need to use the f of x screen, and then we can just enter in the associated frequencies in the same order as their variables, with a comma in between them. Now it's important for us to just double check that we've entered these in correctly. We should have the same number of values of the variable as we do for the frequency. And in that case, I just double checked, we do. So to calculate the mean in GeoGebra, we just need to type in the word mean. Again, I should be doing this with my on-screen keyboard, not my regular keyboard. If I had done that, I would have just typed in MEAN. And then, I'm not a huge fan of the drop-down menus here. I like to just enter this by hand. In order to do this, we're going to do the mean of C, comma, F. And when we do C, comma, F, it will use both the variable and its associated frequency. So the mean of this data value is 4.75. Now I wrote the sample mean X bar because it says randomly selected car salespersons. Whenever they say randomly selected, we know that we are dealing with a sample, so we're going to use the sample mean symbol here, 4.75. The next thing we want to calculate is the median. We can type in median. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the drop-down menus, so I'm just going to keep typing with the on-screen keyboard. Median, open parentheses, C, comma, F, press enter, and we can find the median. The median, again, is just the middle value. The middle value of the distribution is 4, which makes sense. If we have 65 people, half of 65 is 32.5. So the 33rd value in this list would be the median. And 14 plus 19 is 33. And then lastly, it asks us to find the mode. We can just do that by knowing what the mode is. The mode is the data value that occurs the most frequently. So the most frequent value occurs 19 times, but again, that's not our variable. Our variable is number of cars sold. So the mode is 4.